Hello everyone, my name is Matthew, and for my live soundtrack, I decided to go with conflict, nonverbal communication, and listening for our final project. I think one of the biggest aspects in our lives is conflicts that we experience in our relationships, like in chapter 11. First off, conflict is very natural in life, just as breathing is natural. Not everyone will always be on the same page, and at other times we just want to argue for the fun of it. Sometimes when it comes to arguments, we tend to have a direct aggression at the person we are against by attacking who they are as a person. Relating back to my life, there was a time I got into a really bad argument with my dad. I don't really remember the whole context of why we were in an argument or anything, but I do remember we were attacking each other, based on the character, what had happened. Conflict is very natural, even with the people that you really care about. But it takes a bigger person to accept what happened and to try to fix it in the long run. Um, Obviously, you want to aim for the win-win, which is everyone wins, the win-win collaborating conflict style. But in the end, it's not always gonna end like that. That's like the perfect scenario. So the song that I kind of want to relate this whole real life story is by the band 3 Days Grace. It's called, ironically, I Hate Everything About You. And ironically, the lyrics that I picked was, I hate everything about you. Why do I love you? Obviously, this song is meant for rock and metal, so it would sound better. But overall, it kind of, meshes together what you may truly feel. At first, you may really hate the person, whether, it's, a brother, your mother, anyone you're close to, really. Um, but in the end, you love them, just like, they're your family. So that really kind of encapsulates what you may feel when you get into an argument, especially conflict with someone like that. So with the argument with my dad, obviously we were, it was a heated argument, but given some time, we accepted what had happened and we just moved on. Obviously it's my dad, I do care about him, so we just moved on from there. We gave um, each other hugs and moved on with our lives. But in the end, conflict with others doesn't always have to end badly, and sometimes it can be beneficial. You're bound to experience conflict many times in your life, whether you want to or not. While we don't always mean to say what we want with words, our nonverbal communication can obviously give things away, just like in chapter 6. When it comes to nonverbal communication, we tend to have some leakage, which kind of shows how we truly feel. Or maybe, we're complimenting what we say with maybe like a smile on our face, like this. We also need to understand that nonverbal communication isn't just the way we look, just like how I'm wearing this dress shirt. It can also be like things like your tone and that you're giving to the person. So for this life event, I related more to my work at Solano in the outreach department in early 2020. There was a time I was helping give a presentation with my manager because we had some new students coming into the college and they wanted, a college tour. But at that time, we were giving them a presentation. And once we had kind of finished our presentation, there was, all the students had broken into their, groups to talk about everything. Just, was, when you're done giving a presentation. But there was a single student, who looked kind of confused. You know, his whole demeanor, his whole posture looked like he was lost. He stood out from everyone because he just looked confused about life. And both my manager and I, we both walked up to him and asked him to just by his look, his overall, um, you know, view of himself, it showed that he was kind of lost. And when we talked to him, he was talking about things and his concerns about being a dreamer, and how he could possibly pay for college. All that changed, when we talked to him about the potential assistance that Solano does have to offer. And from that, his face lit up, and you could tell he didn't have to say thank you or anything. You could just tell, his face lit up. He was so excited, that with all this extra assistance, he didn't have to worry about anything. Um, So the song that kind of relates to this about this life event is a song by Green Day. It's called "A Boulevard of a Broken Dreams," and the lyrics that I chose were: "My shadow's the only one that walks beside me. My shallow heart's the only thing that's beating. Sometimes I wish someone out there will find me. Till then, I walk alone." This reminds me of that student who ultimately looked confused and wanted to find help, just like the song. Once he got that help, his whole demeanor changed and ultimately showed his true intentions and goals. It really brings the idea of being alone in the song and wanting someone to help you show the way. While we don't always want to say how we feel about something, our nonverbal communication will really show how we feel. Are you still listening to what I'm saying? Good, because we see this in chapter 7. When it comes to listening, you either are actually listening or just hearing noise. When it comes to just hearing what someone is saying, you're basically just doing mindless listening and not really giving much thought into it. You don't put much thought or mind processing into the things, and if you do respond, it might be lackluster to help. What you should be doing is mindful listening, which actually puts in the thought process to what is being said and giving more an appropriate answer. Sometimes you may phase out certain things because of selective listening to things like external noises. Listening is sometimes very difficult. This kind of all ties into my life event. Also, regards to working at Solano. There was a time when we went to Vallejo High School, and there was this girl. Uh, the whole point of us going to Vallejo High was to help enroll students into Solano. But there was a student who didn't really see herself going into college, and she was talking about things of go working at the club and becoming a stripper, and it's because of the environment that she may have grown up in that obviously she had that kind of opinion about herself and what to do. And obviously, we don't want to use the judging listening style because we don't want to judge, what she wants to do, and it's better to to use the advising listening style. So what we could tell her, what we think she should do with her life. Come to college, it may change her life a little bit. But the song that I decided to go with is "Demons" by Imagine Dragons, and the lyrics are: "Don't want to let you down, but I am hellbound. Though this is all for you, don't want to hide the truth. We don't want to let anyone down, but sometimes the environment can hamper our thoughts like that. We want to tell the truth about how we truly feel about certain things, and we want to help to the best of our abilities. Just like the student who had little dreams, she told us what she wanted to do, and we guided her to the right path. We aim to have high goals, so this song pushes me to go far in life. And this is my life soundtrack. It has been a fun ride with everyone in this class. Even though this class was online, it was still a blast. I wish you all good luck on your future endeavors."